Because you can turn the microphone once we have it. Can you pass the microphone to the team that is there?
Yeah, sure.
Is this okay? So today our motion is this: House believe mass media report mass shootings do more harm than good. So our problem is so much media mass shooting. Why is it that? Is it that first of all because mass media overhype this things like mass shooting. So they first of all mass media is made not only for information to inform people, also for money, also for other things. But all of these things, mass media hyping these things and make them more scary than they are. And next thing, which as consequence we have, is increasing level of stress. Increasing level of stress impacts some groups of people, like random people. These people we can match in the people who really stressful and who have really big impacts from this, like stress, and for people who are inspired by these things, like mass shooting. About them we will talk in our third argument. Yeah?
As you said, you think that mass shootings are overhyped. And overstressed. How can killing of children be overhyped and overstressed?
How they can be overhyped and overstressed? They can be overhyped, like, for example, we have mass shooting on the previous days, and when they have choice to not post the number of victims, they have a choice to not post how stressed and scary there is. They have a big text about it was so scary. This boy was so nice and peaceful, and their people who was studying with him are really shocked that he do this. So, what about random people who are really stressed from these situations? It's a really big problem, because when this shooting translates on mass media, many people who see these articles, who see these in use, they start to have stress, like, so it was a boy. Everybody was sure that it's really peaceful boy, that he's really a nice pupil, and he do something like this. So so people start to be stressful, because they understand that they can be in the same situation if they wouldn't be they wouldn't pay so much attention. So they start to pay attention for all the things which people surround him doing, and it's really stressful. Like, you everything doing that somebody can do something that will harm you. And another group of people is the victims of this situation, because when these situations like mass shooting happen, when they came at home, so you just sitting and trying to have a bit rest, and so your relatives start to calling you. Oh, it was in your school, so how it was? You start to see this picture over again and again in the mass media. So they start to feel the stress too now, because they are surrounded by this. they are always stressed about this situation, and they are victims not only for not only one day in this situation. They are victims for all their past life, because these situations. And when we are talking about these situations happen and everybody wants to forget it, but when this over and over start to show in mass media, it's really harmful for the victims to forget about it. And our third argument is increasing hype of mass media shooting. So in this argument, we will talk about random people inspired by these situations. And we will talk about why is so many shootings now. So thank you for listening.
Thank you very much for your speech. I call upon the first speaker from the opposition bench to open the case for the opposition.
Good and harm. Okay, first argument is informing people will have relation. Okay, we believe informing people is helping. When people are informed, is in the right way. They can prevent the thing from happening. By informing people, we the consciousness of people on the hard topics. By informing people know how to prepare and how to be prepared. And second argument is people have a right to information, a right to truth, a right to information, and the right of mass media to report it. It's also a right to free expression, free speech, or freedom of media. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the speech, and I call upon the second speaker from the proposition. Here.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, my judges and my teammates. I'm the second speaker from team of proposition, and I want to say their third argument that said that mass media reports on mass shooting do more harm than good. And it's inscribing the hype of mass shooting. Okay, let's analyze the situation. In certain periods, in certain place, shooting happens. A lot of turmoil, maybe victims, police discussion, a lot of work for detectives. Also, mass media would cover this topic. Similar situations would be very popular among official states channels. It would be transmitted every hour, minimum first 2 days. During this time, this program would see a lot of people. Someone will be shocked. Someone not attached in importance to this. But someone become like crazy. They inspired by this idea. From the shooting becomes something fantastic. They became wild person who really wants to kill. They would be like, oh my gosh, this is so romantic. This is so great. I would be so great shooter. Give me pistols. And they really became shooters. They come to public places and repeat all of that which they see on TV, all of that they hear from radio, all of that which they read from magazines, and the more people inspire this thing, the more victims appears after that, the more people inspired after, there's more and more So if we don't stop this circulation of kills and scare, our society would swallow the Anarchian house. So is it worth it all? I don't think so. And I want to say a little rebuttal of opposition team. That said that thanks. That said that such programs are very informative, but in our arguments we will show you how they informative. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for your speech, and now it's time for the second speaker from the opposition.
So firstly, greetings. I would like to begin by refuting to the proposition team and by saying yes, mass shootings are scary, and because they are scary, it should be reported. It should be reported so people know what not to do, so people should know how to prevent it. I asked the proposition team, so yes, some guy might get an idea, but what if someone sees the signs, sees this on the TV, sees it in media, and thinks, yes, this guy in my classroom looks suspicious. Yes, I should report it. I now know the signs. I know how to prevent it. Schools, even today, are doing much more, especially in America, where most mass shootings are happening. They're doing their best to prevent it. They are making evacuation steps that those students have to learn or follow. They are making schools more secure because this is represented in mass media. Because this is represented in mass media, it helps people become more aware. It becomes something that people know, and they know the signs. They know how to stop it. So, also you think that we should protect the names of children so we can protect the families, so we can protect their legacies. But is it more important to protect the names of their children, or is it more important to protect the future lives of children that could be endangered? So what is more important, the names of the people that are killed or the people that could be killed in the future? Thanks.
So, and what's the probability of happening this the next time? So, what the probability?
I didn't understand the question. Okay, if you mean the probability of it happening the next time, it would be lesser because people are more aware and people know what to do, and people know how these people act and how they react and what to do to escape them. You can't lessen the number of murders in this world, but you can help people know how to react to them, and you can help by making them know how to prevent them, how to make evacuation protocols and so. So I would now like to start our argumentation by saying, if there are no reports, how will you know something is happening? If, for example, we didn't report some tsunamis in some countries in Asia, how will you know the tsunamis are happening? How will you know how we can help the people who are affected by this? With the knowledge, we are more powerful and we are more able to prevent the things that are already happening. They may be a little bit motivated by this, but it is of greater importance that people know how to prevent it, because there will always be murders, there will always be mass shootings, regardless if it is in mass media or peaceful. But just mass media helps people know how to react. It makes people know how to prevent this and how to recognize the signs. So I would like to repeat and say something more about the first argument that is informing people helps in prevention. This is true because humans are progressive. Humans learn from their mistakes. So if something happened once in one way, there is a bigger probability that it will not happen again in the same manner. So, for example, if in one school, in a way, students get killed, they will not be killed in the other school in the same manner, in the same way. So, by making people more informed, by making people know things, we are making a bigger difference than letting people live in lies. If we don't inform people on what is happening, that the children are dying, we are letting them live in a lie that their children are going to school safe, that they are going to a public place safe, that they are going to a university safe. Also, people have a right to be informed, and also mass media has a right to report. It is a right of free speech. It is a right of free media that all the country base their democracy onto. The right to information is a very important part because people will decide what they will do with this information. But media is not pressuring anyone to be a mass killer, to be a mass shooter. It is not dramatizing the event in a manner that we're saying, yes, go kill some people. It is saying, no, these things are terrible, the children are dying, and people have to be aware of it to be able to stop it. So that is why we think it is the most important to report everything so we can help everyone. Also, as the rights to information, one of our basic rights is to be informed. One of the basic rights of mass media is to inform people and to represent information. So if we don't allow that, everything falls apart. So we shouldn't report anything. So we shouldn't report any catastrophic events because if we report it, then they will happen. No, it doesn't necessarily mean there is a correlation between these two things. It just means that people will be aware of what's happening in the world, what's going wrong, and what we can do to fix that, what we can do to prevent that, and what we can do to make things better. And for that reason, the opposition thinks our house thinks that mass shootings should be reported in mass media. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your fine speech. And now please welcome the third speaker from the proposition.
Okay, so good evening, dear judges, dear opponents, dear audience. My name is Isabel. I'm the third speaker of the proposition team, and I'd like to start with our holding. Okay, so the main thing our opponents are saying is that people have the right to information. Mass media has the right to give us this information. Yes, people have the right to correct information. Mass media has the responsibility to give us that correct information. And as we all know, mass media is people's jobs, and they overhype these mass shootings, as we've already explained, which I'll explain a bit later. Okay, so our opponents strongly believe that if we keep reporting them, they won't happen again. Let's look at the status we have now in our world. Mass shootings are happening more and more often. So in our status quo, our problem is that we have a lot of these massive shootings. If we compare it to about, let's say, like 10 years ago, we didn't have as many, which means that since they were reporting each and every one, it's becoming more and more popular. So it's being it's being more and more hyped. So we believe this is the exact reason why we shouldn't report mass shootings. Another thing our opponent said is that they should know for it to be prevented. And as I just said, they've been informed for many, many times. Every single time it happened, they've been informed. Have they been prevented? No. Just recently it happened in Kut. In many other countries it's also happening. And they're happening even more, and they're not being prevented. So what's our solution for that? Is to stop mass media reports to report about these massive shootings. So we believe it brings more harm. Another thing our opponent said is that that the knowledge of stuff brings us power and so on. Yes, we agree. Mass media should inform us about stuff Tsunamis, yes, of course, we absolutely agree. We should know about these extreme cases that happen. We are just saying that informing us about these mass media or these mass shootings is bringing more harm than good. So we're not talking about tsunamis, yes.
So you think every mass shooting in mass media is overhyped, even by the most reliable newspapers and TVs?
Okay, so let's look at this again. So we have so many of these mass shootings, right? And each and every time they happen, it's getting kind of boring. And so these mass medias think, oh, we should kind of like say something extra about it. We should do something more. And so they're making these cases even more extreme than they are. So even if someone walked into a school and just waved with a gun, the mass media will say, oh, he killed like, I don't know how many people. So they're overhyping this too much. Okay, so now to our own argumentation. Our first argument is mass media over-exaggerates. As I just said, the mass media, it's their job to report things. And as their job, they want to make it more interesting. And so they over-exaggerate stuff. And that's why we believe that it brings more harm than good, because it truly doesn't inform us about the true stuff happening. Our second argument is increasing level of stress. So, as we already said, let's look at it from the perspective of the children or the people that were, let's say, in that school where it happened, and parents all over the world. Okay, so first about the children and the people in the school. So, this stressful situation just happened to them, and they want to forget about it as quickly as possible because they're still kids. It just happened to them, such a crucial situation, and they just want to forget about it because they've never experienced something like this before. And if it keeps going in this mass media, they'll constantly be reminded of it, and constantly be reminded of that stress feeling, and constantly feel anxious, and constantly feel all of that. So they'll get very stressed about it. The other aspect of this is the parents all over the world. The parents will get overprotective. The parents will think, oh my God, these mass shootings are happening more and more. I'm not going to let my child go to school anymore. I'm scared of my child walking on the streets. No one can be trusted. Oh my God. We feel that this is what's happening in our world. Okay. Another thing that happens is about other people in the world, that don't fall under the category of the people in the school or the parents. People just all over the world, as I already said, they happen so many times, and now that they are happening so many times, they really are acting like non-caring. So they're like, oh my God, it happened again. Who cares this time? Our third argument is increases the hype of mass shooting. So we strongly believe that since those situations are happening more and more often, and we're presenting them, the generations that are, the children that are doing this are thinking maybe there is something to it, and are starting to continue doing it. Like the first ones maybe have been about like revenge to the school or something like that. But now that it's, yes. Oh, we lost me. Yeah. So it's just bringing these consequences of people not caring. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for your speech. Please make sure that you have your phones far from the mics, okay? Because the mic creates noise. Please take your phone away from the mic. Or please don't do this noise. Please welcome the first speaker from the opposition.
Hello everybody, I'm the third speaker of the opposition team, and firstly I would like to say that a mass shooting is an incident involving multiple victims. So our argument is, the first argument is people have a right to be informed information. The second argument is informing people will help prevention. Talk about first argument. How says the first speaker? When people know, they can learn. they can present these things from happening. To talk about the second argument, if people know something is happening, they can stop it. If they don't know anything, there isn't not anything they can do. Well, to review the third speaker, they are happening more and more, but people know how to react. You can't eliminate the murders, but by stopping mass media from reporting it. No, thank you. That's all what I want to say.
Thanks for your speech, and now please welcome the reply speaker from the opposition.
So I would like to. So really, I would like to begin by again saying that if there are no reports, how can you know that something is happening? You're letting people live in an illusion that everything is nice and fine and there are butterflies flying around in the world and everything is great, but you're not letting them get the full picture. And I think that was the main clash of our two sides. That the proposition side wants people not to know because it won't give people ideas, but on the other side we think that yes, it may give some people some ideas, but it is much more important because they will always be murderers, as I was saying throughout my speech, and they will always be mass shooters. It's just our duty to give people the information they deserve, to give people the knowledge that they are present. If we let them live in an illusion, that will lead to even worse effects, because if they don't know what is happening, if they don't know they're present, they're around us, they won't know how to prepare. The schools, the universities, all the places where mass shootings are happening won't be prepared. They won't have evacuation methods. They won't have extra security at school, and that leads to even more deaths and even more problems than in the first place. We want people to be informed, and we want people to exercise, and mass media to exercise their right to information. We want mass media to exercise their rights to sharing and to sharing expressions and to sharing the truth. If we don't let people know the truth, if we let people know if we are living in a world where the children are safe going to school, we're letting them live in lies. We're letting them live in some utopia where everything is great and where nothing can happen to their children. We want to make the children safe. We want to make the people safe. We want to lessen the number of mass murders by making people educated, by making people know how to react and what to do, and the other people to know what to do and how to recognize the first signs of a mass murder in their surroundings. So that is why we think if there are no reports, people are living in an illusion, and it is our right, and it is needed it is our obligation, moral and physical, to inform people and to lessen the rate of mass murders by informing them, by preventing it, by making evacuations, by letting people help people, and to together lessen the numbers and save children from dying, and save all the people from dying in such terrible cases as are mass murders. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your speech, and now please welcome reply speaker from the proposition.
Let me start my reply speech. So, let's compose two worlds of our opponents and our world. We illustrate worlds which have which have information about which have mass media who informated our students about these shootings. So, and what we have stressed people and pupils which were the victims of these situations. We have stressed people who see these accidents on the media because they have see really scary numbers of victims. They see really scary pictures of this, like, he was a really peaceful boy, he was really good pupil, but one day he had a gun to he bring the gun to school and killed for about, for example, 20 pupils. So these scary pictures will make us anxious, and we start to be really paranoid about these things. Like we start always thinking that these situations will happen to us. So and what our opponents say that. So now we have the translations in mass media. So the shootings are, but shootings happen again and again. So we can see that this ineffective way to inform people. If we inform people correctly what the reasons of be really. To not trust person who make, for example, he interested in shooting games or something like this. But we informed with scary pictures. We pay attention for scary pictures with which mass media show us. So we don't pay attention what we should do in situations when the shootings happens. How to struggle with this. We have an information that this happens and nobody informed us how we can struggle with this situation. So, and we don't know how to struggle with this, and we just have victims who can't forget about these situations. We have stressed people and stressed parents from this situation, and we have people who inspired by these situations and make the shootings in schools again and again. So that's all what I want to say, and thank you for all people sitting here for being here.